All right now.
Patrick Mahomes is basically God playing quarterback.
Chiefs Kingdom
Live!
They want it. They wanted it.
And when it's grim, be the Grim Reaper. Go get it.
That's a different tier right there, baby.
Yeah, we're not having a snowball fight.
Three. No one's ever got three. I want back-to-back to back.
The Lombardi Trophy is a red and gold reflection. Touchdown! Kansas City! One of the greatest duos in the history of the National Football League. Patrick Mahomes to Travis Kelce.
Let's go!
Do it live! You gotta fight for your right to fight!
It'll get handled when it gets handled.
Let's go.
Howdy, Chiefs Kingdom. It's Wednesday. It's 8 o'clock. It's Chiefs Kingdom Live. Thank you so much for joining us. Real quick, if you would, before you forget, make sure to click and tap that like and click and tap that subscribe button. Maybe tell some friends, tell some family members, tell some Chiefs fans. Help spread the word. We'd sure appreciate it. We got a good show lined up for everybody tonight. Chiefs take the first loss of the season, but everybody's take a deep breath. Chiefs have lost games before.
Relax. We'll be all right.
Last time we lost was to the Raiders on Christmas Day almost a year ago, and the Chiefs won the Super Bowl. They've lost to the Bills in the regular season, won the Super Bowl. So don't back up off the cliff a little bit.
There.
You know,
Been there, done
there.
that.
We're gonna be all right. And then we got a good matchup coming up with a suddenly feisty Carolina Panthers team, 3-17, but they've won 2 in a row. So we might have a special guest here, hopefully joining us to talk about that game. Before we get into the show, looks like everybody in the chat is showing up in here. Maria and Brenda and John C. I know Big Doug and Laney and Kevin and the rest should be here pretty soon. Hope you all are doing well. Bo, how are you doing tonight, man? I can't hear Bo.
Yeah, one of these days I'll figure this all out, right? Just equipment failure after equipment
all
failure. No,
good.
I'm doing good. I'm doing really good. Thanks, man. Got to sneak away, play some golf with Big Doug today, so no complaints on this end whatsoever. Beautiful day in Oklahoma. It's turning to fall, right? So a little cool,
Yep.
but like sunny, beautiful, clear day. So couldn't ask for more. Had a great time. So thank you, Big Doug. That was a lot of fun. No, man, doing really good. You know, one thing I didn't have on my 2024 bingo card was turning on Netflix and having my account freeze on Mike Tyson's ass for 2 minutes. And I'm like, what is going on here, man? But I'm doing good, man. How are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing real well. Yeah, I watched that thing too. Somehow the TV I was watching it on, like it only like froze up maybe 3 or 4 times, and I get online later and everybody's talking about how it glitched out and they missed half the fight, and I was like, I didn't think it was that bad, but yeah, no, I'm doing good, man. I'm getting over a little bit of like a stomach chest cold thing. I'm not quite sure what was going on, but doing better now. John C's pointing out long hair Nick in the old clips from the old show. It was one of the first things I noticed when you put together the old highlights there, the clips, the thumbnails or whatever from previous shows. Like, oh, yeah, that's right. Nick had long hair when we started doing this. So.
Right. Looks so different. Speaking
Nick's
of, there he is in the chat.
Yep. Nick's traveling back from Wisconsin. Had some flight delays. Doesn't look like he's going to make it back in time to join us live, but he's in the chat. Good to see you. Hope you don't get delayed too late. Let's just rip the scab off and get into it. The Chiefs lose their first game of the year to the, I don't know, the arch nemesis, Buffalo Bills.
Is it?
It's getting there, man. They play each other every year, it seems like, except for, if not once, twice.
Right. Yeah.
Playoff matches, obviously, we know how those have gone. Just overall thoughts, how you felt watching that game before we kind of talk about where we thought things went wrong and maybe some things that we liked from the game, Bo.
There's a lot to take from that game, right? We saw a lot of different looks from Andy Reid, that's for sure. A lot of different players got involved than we're normally used to seeing. I don't know if that was by design or by necessity. But my overall thoughts of the game, man, it was just like kind of the same problems we had last week. Offensive line struggles leads to offensive struggles, which puts the defense out there. And man, I mean, it's obvious our defense didn't have the greatest game whatsoever. And, just we couldn't play complimentary football whatsoever. And when one phase did all right, the other phase just kind of puttered out. And it was, that was the whole game. It seemed like just couldn't get things rolling. So just unfortunate, but like, you're right, we've lost. The one plus I will say about this loss is it wasn't like an ass kicking, you know what I mean? It wasn't like a morally defeating loss. Like, sure, there was like a lot of grit. Like, I mean, it was a good game, right? And that's what you want from these guys, but it wasn't a blowout. We didn't bring our A game. And you definitely know the Bills did bring their A game, right? So it's just unfortunate that like they wanted it a little bit more. But but when you look at that, you're just like, so you guys gave it all you had, and we were a field goal away, essentially a minute and a half left in the game from taking that one from you, and we're barely bringing it. So I mean, I think that in itself says a lot. Just like how teams are playing against us. Every team's giving us their best. Obviously, the quotes, every team Super Bowl kind of thing, and you could really see that in the Bills. Man, they wanted that game so bad, and hey, hats off to them. They played a great game. That was a hell of a run by Josh Allen, man. I mean, I don't know how we don't spy that, but I guess it was a hybrid spy. I didn't see it. It looked like he just kind of ran free at will, but is what it is. We'll see you guys again in the playoffs. So, but yeah, overall thoughts just disappointing, man. We wish we could get one phase working with the other at one point.
Yeah, watching the game, it's like watching all these other Chiefs games. It's close. And the turnover thing with Patrick reared its head. We'll get into that a little bit here more, what we thought about that. But right out of the chute, they turn the ball over. They go down. I saw some people online saying, okay, well, the Chiefs just got their early turnover and first scoring drive out of the way early on defense. Now they're ready to rock and roll. Some people were saying, oh, man, I might have to turn this off. This is looking like a blowout coming here. And I was like, calm down. It's early in the game.
We have 15. What are you worried about?
The Chiefs never get blown out. In the Patrick Mahomes era, I want to say they've lost, 3 or 4 games by more than like 14 points?
Yeah, something ridiculously small, yeah.
So it turned out not to be like that. It was a back-and-forth contest between two teams. I will say I was a little surprised by the Bills. I thought they maybe were a little bit of smoke and mirrors with the way they had the nice 8-2 record, but only one of those wins had come against a team with a winning record, and the 2 losses had come against teams with winning records. So I thought the Chiefs were going to win. I thought that they would outclass the Bills, but that wasn't the case. They played pretty even ball. In the end, the Chiefs were a 4th down stop away from getting the ball back and going down to win the game, basically. So on the road against the team that I think they were tied at that point for the second best record in AFC with a couple other teams at 8-2. I think the Steelers 8-2.
Yeah, I think so.
Trying to think if there's another team, but anyway, yeah, just was just another close kind of nail biting Chiefs game. I always just feel though like that they're going to win those because they pretty much always do. So it was a little surprising at the end when they didn't, but. Tip your cap to the Bills, man. They played a good game and they came out on top. Let's talk about the defense. I think that's kind of the story of the game.
Yeah, for sure.
I expected them to play better considering the Bills were missing 2 of their top 3 receiving targets on offense. They were missing the Dalton Kincaid, the really, really good young tight end. Keon Coleman, a rookie that had kind of started to come on here recently. I want to say he was tied for second on the team with touchdown catches. They were a little banged up on offense. Not to say the Chiefs weren't, but I really thought the Chiefs defense would play better than they did.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that stood out the most to me about the defense was this has kind of become a theme here the last 2 or 3 weeks of the other team gets the ball and with an opportunity to go down and tie or take the lead late, and the defense can't get the stop. They've been solid all year, and I don't want to sit here and just have a dump fest on the Chiefs defense, because they've been one of, if not the best units in the league this year, and have won more than their fair share of games and carried the weight for the team so far this year.
Yeah,
but,
it's easy to say that this was their worst game, though.
Right. Yeah. Bo, what did you see out of the defense? What did you think was most concerning, maybe most surprising out of their performance against the Bills?
You know what was surprising about the defense to me was I didn't realize how crucial of a position Jalen Watson held on that side, right? He went down, and it just seems like our whole secondary has fallen apart since. And I didn't realize like he was kind of the duct tape holding that all together a little bit. The tight end thing, you know, we still got burned by tight ends this game, and that was kind of the low hanging fruit. If you'd been watching our games the past couple of weeks, that's where teams have been burning us the most, and they did it. But I mean, I think that was just more of Josh Allen playing a perfect game, man. Like he was making throws so fast, and then like if he did his option, he scrambled perfectly, right? They had very few design runs. They didn't run it well on us. And I'm like, yeah, the defense played bad. I would say it's their worst game, but I'm not gonna say like they had a terrible game. There was three drives in a row where they got the ball turned over, or they forced them to punt, you know. And so it's like a lot of that. How many times can you ask the defense to score you points or keep you in the game? And we asked them like 3 times in a row. But at the same time, it's like, hey, man, that's your job. You get paid a lot of money. We need you to finish this whole game out, because I feel like they did okay. I mean, obviously the beginning cold, middle hot, end cold, like a 7-Eleven burrito, right? Just terrible. Or maybe it's the opposite, cold in the middle and opposite hot in the end. But whatever, however you cook your burrito at 7-Eleven. Just wasn't a great performance all around. And yeah, we just really need to get a few small things together. But the younger DBs are what stood out the most to me. That's really showing that we have some rookies back there, younger guys making huge mistakes, leaving guys wide open, and not recognizing which coverage they're supposed to be or which man they're supposed to be on. But like I said, I'm not trying to do a dump fest. They've been playing great all year, but this is all little things they can easily clean up. And I think you know, Spags is just testing out a lot of stuff. What does he really have? How far can he push these young guys? What are they really capable of? We saw that. And like I said, they did okay, but they just didn't finish well. I mean, if they had just finished that fourth quarter like they had done the second and third quarter, we'd be talking about a victory here, I feel like. Yeah. But yeah, such is life.
Yeah, no, they definitely had their hot stretches. They played well there in the second and third quarter, even early in the fourth quarter. They were holding the Bills. They ended up scoring 30 with that last touchdown. But you know, if they get the stop there, and the Chiefs get the ball back, and you're looking at a game where you hold them to 23 points in their house, one of the better offenses in the league.
Yeah.
You're talking about a completely different story. So the run by Josh Allen was killer. That, you know, Bo, I noticed what you saw too. The Chiefs defense their depth is really getting tested right now.
Mm-hmm.
Look, if you go back to last year, you had L'Jarius Sneed and you had Trent McDuffie, and then you had Jalen Watson was the third corner. You lose L'Jarius Sneed in the trade to Tennessee Titans.
Yeah.
Jalen Watson bumps up. He goes down. You're playing with Najee Johnson and some of these guys who would have been your third and fourth string cornerbacks from last season. So there's going to be some growing pains there. We saw it early with Jalen Watson in his career when he was playing.
Oh, yeah. He had one stellar game at the beginning, right? Yeah. And then like got put under the microscope right away. Right.
He got picked on by the opponent there a little bit. But the other thing that kind of stood out to me too was I know Josh Allen isn't a running back, but the Chiefs defense have been really good at stopping the run. You saw their running back Cooks they scored 2 touchdowns on the ground. And it wasn't like those were runs like at the goal line, right? I want to say the first one, they ran the ball from the 4 to 5 yard line and got into the end zone.
First one, look at that and tell me there's not 2 holding calls. Like it's as clear as day. Well, I mean, I'm not trying to blame the refs, but like, I mean, come on, dude. It's there. Right. It's on tape. We see it.
Right. Yeah. Chiefs get all the calls though, so we all know that can't really be the case.
Yeah, that's right. What am I
just the way the Bills were able to run the ball is something we had not seen teams do on this defense all year. And the Bills kind of did. And Josh Allen's a little bit different. You know, when he's dropping back to pass and then he takes off running, that's not traditional stuffing the run, but just missed tackles, especially on the running backs, or, You know,
missed
you had
tackles.
guys, I want to say it was Shamari Connor, who's had some really, really bright spots this season and had some good games and made some big plays. He had some big missed tackles in the backfield on a running back, and I want to say maybe like on a screen pass that turned into big gains, especially on third down, where the Bills just killed the Chiefs' defense. That was another spot on third down. So
They lit up third
their
downs for sure.
their run defense wasn't quite what we had been accustomed to and grown used to here with this team. And like you mentioned, Bo, I think the depth is starting to become an issue. You're just going to have to figure out a way to live with that right now because there's not a Kareem Hunt on defense right out there that you can just go sign
bring them
and
on.
bring in and probably play at a starting, above average level. So Spagnuolo has shown that he can adjust and he can get young guys brought up to speed and he can kind of cover for some deficiencies and different levels of the defense there. So work to do, no doubt. Looks like Kevin's in here now. Big Doug. Good to see you all. Something else too. I kind of noticed about the defense. We were talking about like I just mentioned the third downs. They were good at stopping the Bills, and the Bills were having a lot of negative or no gain or 1 yard plays, right? And they were getting them in 3rd and 8 and 3rd and 9, right? And could not get off the field. With the performance against the run, and Bo, like you mentioned, with the corner there and the secondary, is it like how concerned are you about the defense moving forward? I mean, I know it's been one bad game. Is this something you think they can kind of overcome and adjust for, or is it something the offense is going to have to maybe pick up the pace a little bit coming down the stretch here?
Concern's like not the right word, right? I mean, there's like a little worry to the fact that they were somehow able to keep Chris Jones and Karlaftis and everybody from even getting to Josh Allen. What they did to do that, I hope other teams aren't recognizing, because I can't see exactly what they did. I don't know if Chris Jones was just having an off day. I mean, everybody was kind of having an off day, so I'm not trying to single anybody out, but like, man, you'd really want your superstars to kind of step up in a moment like that, right? Like, hey, man, we just need you to just get to him one time, or pressure him, hit I don't know, something like you just didn't see any pressure from our defensive line whatsoever. And I mean, that kind of goes right into their run game, right? It just seems like they were able to manhandle our line, which we haven't seen all year, I feel like. But that's also a huge testament to the Bills' O-line. I mean, those guys are no slouches whatsoever. They have one of the better lines in football. So, I mean, rocking a hard place, right? Our two opposing forces. It's just, I was just surprised that Chris Jones didn't get home, or even because of that, or having to dedicate an extra guy to him, that somebody else didn't get home. That was pretty surprising to me. But like we were talking about, these are all small things that are easy to get through. You think everybody's going to stop Chris Jones for the rest of the year? No, that guy's going to get through. He knows he's probably even more mad than the fans could be cumulatively. So,
right.
I would look for a good back bounce game from our defense. I wouldn't expect this to linger. A lot of the stuff, missed tackles, right? Like, that's easily fixable. You can drill a guy to tackle correctly in the right spot. Wrap up, right? Don't go for the shoulder hits anymore.
Right.
Little things like that. I mean, we had some turnovers. I feel like there's something to be said about, like, man, we just need to guard tight ends a little bit better, but we're taking away essentially run games and wide receiver ones from every team. So, I mean, there's something to be said in that. But, man, what we are giving them, teams are taking advantage of and just gobbling it up on us.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not overly concerned. The secondary is a little bit of an issue. You'd like to think the Chiefs' pass rush can pick up the pace a little bit. Chris Jones, you mentioned he had a quiet game. He hasn't really put up the gaudy numbers, but he's getting double teamed and triple teamed. And you got to think at some point, like an all-pro, borderline Hall of Fame defensive tackle will start getting some of these holding calls at some point. I mean, you watch the game and the hands to the face, two guys holding him. I mean, you got one guy with a hand on this side of his jersey and the other guy's holding this part of his jersey. I don't know. I'm not going to be too critical of CJ. I think he is a guy that shows that in the biggest moments, he's going to find a way and he's going to figure out a way to show up. So Yeah.
No, it's hard to like single him out. Like I said, I'm just surprised like if he is
Yeah.
getting double teamed that one of these other guys haven't stepped up and
Sure.
made more of a presence.
Right.
But again, they had a hell of a line. So
Yeah,
that's
no,
off
they
to
do.
Buffalo. That's all we can say, I guess.
Right. Yeah. No, their offensive line is good, and they played well. They were up to the task of the Chiefs' defense. So we'll see there. But first time in was like trying to think of how many games they said it was like the Chiefs had finally given up more than 28 points in a game.
31, I think.
It was like
somewhere up
31
there.
games or something ridiculous. So I think it was just a culmination of a few different things, right? The Chiefs' defense had been playing out of their minds, and they were on a really, really long streak. It was just a matter of time before somebody kind of got to them, and they got to in that game. So you just go back to the drawing board and watch the film and get better and practice.
Back to work.
One
to
of the
work,
things,
fellas.
one of the themes of the post-game interviews, especially on the defensive side of the ball, the players, was we need to remember this feeling. And we got to get back to playing Chiefs football, and we got to get back to playing defense the way we know we can. So, I'm not overly concerned moving forward. I think the defense is still really, really good. And I think coming down the stretch, especially when you get in the playoffs here, especially if you can get a guy like Charles Omenihu back, which looks like maybe he's a week or so away from returning. That was a guy that was
practicing,
a really, really, really good player before he got hurt last year. So that should help reinforcements on the way on the defense and the offense. But, maybe Charles Omenihu thing, if he can come back and play like he did, that is going to solve a lot of the issues that the Chiefs defense has kind of had here last couple of weeks with the lack of pass rush and being able to get off the field, especially third down and long passing situations, right? So see what that does when he comes back. Chiefs offense.
John C thinks he's gonna play this week, huh? 5 snaps on Sunday. That'd be good to see.
He came back to practice last week. Andy Reid usually likes you to get a full week of practice in once you come back from injury to get on the field. So I think you probably see him start working his way back in. It's going to take him a couple of games to get back into game shape, but that guy could be a real difference maker. And this point in the season with guys starting to get fatigued, you get him coming in fresh is going to be a boost to that line and the defense. So looking forward to that. Looks like Carol's checking in. What's up, Carol? Good to see you.
Hey,
I saw Lainey in the chat. Looked like she
jumped in. She was cooking dinner, she said.
Poor scheduling on Lainey's part to not be done cooking by the time the show starts. But that's all right, Lainey. We're going to let it slide. So
we even started 8:05. We give you guys 5
started 5 minutes late. So I like giving Lainey a hard time. So let's talk about the offense. We put a post out. If you're not following us on social media, you can find us at Chiefs Kingdom Live on X and Facebook and Instagram. It was like, can the offense and the defense just like play together once? Like, seems like whenever the defense was getting stops, the offense couldn't do anything. Then the offense would score a touchdown and get the lead. Then the defense would give the lead right up.
Yeah,
and you're like,
exactly.
Can you guys like kind of get on the same page and play together here? The offense to me, I thought looked good. The turnovers, look, here's the thing. Patrick Mahomes, I've seen it on social media. I've had some conversations with folks here this last week since the game Sunday that Patrick Mahomes has lost his deep ball and he's got bad footwork and he's regressed and he's doing too many commercials and he's not watching film and he can't read a defense.
I love that commercial one. You hear that one all the time. Like,
I know,
guys, that happens in the off season. Come on.
I mean, those all. You're not watching film in the off season, okay? These guys get time off in the off season when they film all these things. He hasn't been doing a lot of commercials the last 2 or 3 years when they went to back-to-back and repeated first team in 20 years to win back-to-back Super Bowls. So Patrick Mahomes hasn't forgot to play football. Look, I think the biggest issue, and Bo, maybe you can let me know if you agree with this afterwards, or maybe you see something bigger. Patrick Mahomes, the protection is not there for him. He does not have to. The first interception, I've started to go back and forth with some folks on social media during the game. I was like, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to enjoy the game here, but
don't get trapped.
Look, that first interception on the second play of the game, the pocket collapses almost instantly on him, and he's getting wrapped up. And he's trying to throw the ball. Noah Gray is wide open. You think if he has another
Yeah.
second to stand there and set his feet and throw, he's going to overthrow Noah Gray by 5 feet and get the ball intercepted? No,
Right.
He is he's under too much pressure, and he's running for his life. And I know the tackles have been an issue. I would really like to get somebody, like we're trying to reach out to our friend Joe Valerio. I see these grades for the interior of the line, and they're the best, right? Number 1 PFF grade in the NFL, Trey Smith, Creed Humphrey. It seems like those guys are getting pushed back, and I don't know that they're obviously playing better than the tackles. The tackles are the issue. But look, man, Patrick Mahomes does not look comfortable, okay? He does not have time. Even if guys are getting open downfield, he doesn't have the time to stand there or the confidence that he's going to have the time to stand back in there and get the ball to him. Bo, you think that's the biggest thing affecting the offense right now, or maybe injuries just have started to pile up on this team? What do you think it is?
It's a combination of both of those things you just said, right? But Doug and I actually talked about this today in person, and yeah, that was what we agreed upon too. There is absolutely zero confidence that Patrick Mahomes has when he's taking his 3 or 5 step drop back. You know, he just instantly, I don't know, it like breaks down, right? I mean, thank God he does. He knows that it is breaking down. It's broken immediately. Got to make something happen. Yeah, with that interception, you got to give him a slide because 9 out of 10 times he makes that throw even under duress, right? Like we've seen it from him so many times. So like, yeah, you're not making a throw when you get hit. Surprise, surprise. You are human a little bit. He is the T-15,000, but no, I mean it's just so apparent, man. There's just everything from his pass protection from his running back, like his blitz protection package, just get a little chip. That seems to be completely off. As you mentioned, the tackles are the glaring ones. I feel like everybody's kind of pointing at them, but I think you bring up a great point in pointing out the front 3, man. Like there's plenty of pressure coming from that interior too. It's not like he's just getting everything from the outside. Like he is having to scramble for his life, and it's fascinating because those 3 guys, I mean, they're ranked. Like I would say all 3 of them are in the top 15, you know, and you're just kind of like, what? It doesn't really reflect. No, yeah, I would like to see them to strengthen it up. But I also, dude, the notion out there, right? Like, the Chiefs are gettable. The Chiefs are gettable. Look, they're so gettable. Yeah, it only takes our wide receiver 1 going down, our franchise guy we got at the end of the year who's supposed to be the badass going down. It takes our running back 1 going down. It takes our centers and our safeties going down. Oh yeah, and now we're gettable, right? Like we're absolutely depleted, and nobody wants to give the Chiefs credit for that, but they use it as a crutch for everybody else. Like, they didn't have Shakir, or they had Shakir. They didn't have Cooper, or like it's just like such a crutch for the media, and you're just like, dude, he's having to do this by himself with an offensive line, one that you're like, you can't trust if they're gonna like jump the snap early, because to me it looks like Jawan Taylor jumps every freaking snap. I'm like, oh god. I mean, I know he's in on the count, but man, you're making that like I see it. I get why other fans are like, dude, what? And just like, I don't know. I can't explain that one away, but I mean, yeah, it seems to be like the most glaring hole, and it should be the easiest. I mean, there's a couple guys out there too that they could go get. I feel like Donovan Smith, who was on our team. I mean, I feel like anybody at this point, you or I might have a better shot, dude, than Kingsley, who had like 8 rushes against him and missed all of them. Like, I don't know. I feel like I could get in the way, like fall down and trip one of these guys up a little. I'm obviously speaking a little tongue in cheek here, but
that's so funny you say that. I just made that same comment to someone at work today. I was like, man, I'll go out there for the minimum, and I'll at least like fall down in front of the guy so he has to jump over me and slow him down a little bit.
That's an extra half second that we're giving Patrick.
By that guy, without even getting a finger on him. I mean, at least he would have to like shake me off the bottom of his cleat as he trampled over the top of me. Something would be better than what they got going on out there. I think they're just hoping that Wanya Morris can be kind of like, I don't know, solidify his play here. I think they still got faith in that guy. Kingsley, look, he was healthy and active. That is not a good sign for him. So I don't know that they're running out of options, though. They got to get something figured out. I'm not a expert film analyst, right? Like I don't know. Maybe the center line is awesome, and I just don't understand the complexities of line play in football. But whatever it is, man, like Patrick is under duress and under way too much pressure. So I think that's affecting the timing. I think that's affecting his deep balls. I think that's affecting him having enough time to even throw the ball deep.
Well, yeah, even on his deep balls, they feel like everybody's like, well, Patrick needs to play a better ball. Like, dude, he's stepping into somebody damn near every time. He's like on the run or doing it, and he is putting it there. And can we just have Worthy do a toe tap? Like, you're in the big leagues now, buddy. Like, both feet in. Come on, buddy, you can do it.
Right. You bring up the Xavier Worthy thing. Let's just talk about that for a minute. He's the first-round draft pick. Similarly to Rashee Rice last year, he's kind of being thrust into, maybe not so much now with the D-Hop thing, but trade, but he's kind of being thrust into the spotlight there, right?
Yeah, they kind of leaned
early
on him
in his rookie year,
sure.
which they, Chiefs have, Andy Reid has not been inclined to do in his career. The pass, like where he didn't toe tap on the sideline, people are like, well, if he throws the ball more to the center of the field, or if he doesn't do this and it's a touchdown, like that's where that route is designed to go. Like Xavier Worthy breaks towards the sideline at that angle and he doesn't change direction at all. Like that's where the play is supposed to go. You got to toe tap, man. You got to get both feet in bounds. We saw the same thing, was that 2 games ago against Tampa Bay, where he caught the ball right there at the 2-yard line and didn't get both feet in bounds and cost the Chiefs a touchdown. Him and Patrick got to get on the same page. It seems like he's the common denominator, right? We've seen Patrick be able to connect and throw the deep ball for his entire career. Now he's got an issue with Xavier Worthy. So
I don't know if it's an issue because, like, I feel like once or twice a game they go for that shot, and we've gotten it once,
got it
right?
A few times.
Yeah, I mean,
feels like we've not gotten it more often than we've gotten it, though.
I would definitely agree with that. Yeah, I would agree with that. But I mean, at least we're going for it, right? Like they're trying to take the top off defenses, and like it is there. I mean, that play we're talking about, I think the criticism's coming from the sense that like he was so wide open, you don't need to put it on the sideline. But like to your point, I think that's where you throw it, and it's more muscle memory than like, oh, I should just take a yard off of it kind of thing. Like, no, it's just I've been putting it there my whole career, going to put it there. But no, they definitely leaned into Worthy, and I wasn't too disappointed with how he performed, man. Like it kind of gave us a glimpse into what it would look like if like he was our number one receiver a little bit, and like. What I really like about it is it's going to make future defenses have to take him more into account when game planning, right? Which takes less off of the 2 guys who seem non-existent in this game, Travis Kelce and DeAndre Hopkins, were the guys you would kind of hope would step up and take the lead in this kind of a game. They kind of seem to kind of not come up, unfortunately.
Yeah, no, Xavier Worthy had a hot start to the game. The defense, the Bills figured out that he was an emphasis. I think the Chiefs were trying to rub it in the Bills' nose a little bit that they let us get Xavier Worthy. So, like, part of the game plan is like, listen, man, we're going to burn him with Xavier Worthy early and, like, kind of like troll him a little bit here. Like,
and just say this is our offense.
But, yeah, no, they had him on some short crossing routes. He had a couple of nice plays. That catch he made over the middle where he got blasted in the back right as he caught the ball, how he held on to that ball.
I honestly thought I was like, oh, great, there goes another receiver. Like, I thought he was not getting up, man.
Right.
Like,
but he took a licking and kept on ticking and held on to the ball. Amazing catch there by him. So, yeah, I definitely don't want to sit here and just have a bash fest on Xavier Worthy because outside of that one play, he had one of his better games as a Chief so far this year, really. You could tell the Bills put a focus on him after that first drive or 2, though, and we're like, okay, we're going to take this guy away. And, as a rookie and with the Chiefs getting some weapons back on offense, maybe Hollywood Brown's come back a little bit earlier than expected, and D-Hop's got to be starting to get a little more comfortable in the offense. He had an amazing one-handed catch. That guy's hands, although he did have the drop, which, hey, that was a
dude, what was up with his drop?
For anybody, but you kind of expect him to catch that ball, right?
Yeah, I do. But like, I'm not gonna like sit here and rag on him that he didn't.
I'm not mad.
What I'm more confused about, what I'm just so confused about, he got up and started going, "Well, that was a catch. That was a catch." Like, dude, that didn't look like a catch when I saw it live. Let's watch this replay. Oh yeah, that definitely was not a catch. What are you talking about, man?
Yeah, you see guys do that a lot, though, man. Especially a guy like him who's used to catching the ball, right? Like they think they catch everything. I'm not trying to slam D-Hop for the drop, look, I don't even know.
No,
I'm
by
not
no
even going to
means.
call
It was
that a
just
drop, right? But he was fully extended as high as he could probably jump in the air with the defender draped on him, trying to bring that ball down. And that just speaks to how great that guy has been and how
dude, he's
good of
such
a
a
wide
freak
receiver
athlete.
he is. And
Yeah.
you're like almost disappointed that he didn't make that catch, right? Because that's a catch that
Yeah, exactly.
hardly
Exactly.
anybody else in the league could even make occasionally. And
Get
the
a
fact
finger
that
on it.
right? The fact that we kind of expect him to catch that regularly or all the time just goes to show what a badass receiver that guy is and how good of hands he has. So, the other thing too, the Chiefs' offense. Andy Reid said after the game, I could have called some more runs. It looked like Kareem Hunt was getting some mojo going there in the second half. Were you disappointed, surprised? Do you think they should have ran the ball a little bit more in the game, Bo?
Yeah, I was kind of surprised they leaned away from it for just being the team that we had been the past couple of weeks, like being a real run-heavy offense. It would kind of surprise me to see him do a little bit more passing out of the backfield with not only Hunt, but like I saw Steele catch a ball out of the backfield, and then like Ryan was going for routes. But yeah, I mean, I'm not disappointed. We've been talking a lot about Kareem's load management, right? And maybe it's just one of those games where like, all right, hey, their defensive line is a son of a bitch, and we want this badass weapon for the rest of the year. So let's try something different. Let's try these rookies we have here. I think it's a little bit of that, a little bit of load management, and then you just can't do the same thing every week to week. You know, like teams know and they learn so quick, they adapt so quickly in this league. You hear Andy Reid talking about how everything's parity and how quickly teams can figure out your game plan, let alone like it's almost like they're in your head sometimes.
Right.
But no, yeah, I think we'll be fine, dude. I think they're going to go back to being a run-heavy offense once we get Pacheco back, and teams aren't going to know what to do when we have a 1-2 punch like that.
Yeah.
Right? They're like, oh, they're going to lean on Kareem, and then all of a sudden here's Poppy. Woo, you're just like, oh yeah, that guy's in the league. I forgot about that guy. So I think it's just a little bit playing their cards a little close to the chest. You know, we kind of joke about like, hey, maybe we just try a whole different thing here against the Bills. Like, I kind of think that is a little bit of what they were thinking, man. Like, let's not give away the whole thing right here. We probably will play this team again later on in the year. We can't give all of our best plays, all of our burners, or all of our man beaters every time we play this team. Otherwise, they'll figure us out, and we're playing the longer game. Which is kind of making me think about what you said earlier about the rivalry we have. And I was thinking like, no, I don't think Buffalo's our rival. I think our rival is whoever we play in the Super Bowl now, right? Like that's going to be our rival. It can't be the AFC because we don't play you in the Super Bowl. So you're not our rival, buddy.
Right. Right. Yeah. It's an interesting point you bring up there. So, man, Nico from the Locker Room Rant jumping in here. Good to see you, man. He's asking about us coming to Cleveland. I've got a job. We're trying to. I've got a job change starting here pretty quickly, so don't know how I'm going to be able to swing that. Bo might be in move mode at that time. I'm not quite sure. We're working on it. We're going
right now.
to try and make it out there.
That's like the game we want to go to and go do a little road trip on.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, no doubt. But appreciate you swinging by, Nico. Good to see you. I hope you're doing well. You mentioned Isaiah Pacheco coming back. I think the biggest thing about him coming back is like he's going to give Kareem Hunt a little bit of a rest here, man. That they have like
a welcome rest too, I think.
I mean, there's an old saying like beat him like a rented mule, right? Like they have just
never heard that one.
Kareem
I love that,
Hunt, man. Like they have ridden that guy hard since he came here about a month ago. So I think a little bit of a rest for him and a little bit of lightening of the workload is going to be huge for Kareem Hunt and how he's going to be able to help the team. Reinforcements are on the way. We talked about Charles Omenihu on the defense coming back. That should be a boost. Isaiah Pacheco coming back should be a boost. So don't dwell too much on this loss, Chiefs Kingdom. It's going to be all right. And the Chiefs have been here before. They've lost games before.
Before we hop off the offense in this game, right. I want to just highlight how great of a game Noah Gray had, huh?
Oh yeah,
that dude lit it up, man. Wasn't surprising to see because I mean they've taken out Kelsey and D-Hop, but like I'm so glad he's one of those guys that's been able to step up and become a reliable target when we need him. I mean, so clutch this game, man. I can't say enough good things about how well he did this week.
Right. Yeah, no, he's really he's kind of coming to life this season. And not that he hasn't made big catches or made nice plays for the team before, but it was one of those things where he was kind of like an afterthought in the offense. He is starting to become somewhat of a focal point in the passing game.
Mm-hmm.
And, another thing I've heard here, the conversations or whatnot, see online, is that Travis Kelce is washed again for the second time this season, and they need to bench him.
One bad game, and he's done.
And he needs to play less. I don't think he's washed, but it's no secret. He's closer to the end of his career than the beginning, right?
Yeah, he's on the back nine for sure.
When he catches the ball, he does not look as elusive or as fast as he's been in the past, but he's also 34, 35 years old. So all of us here having reached that milestone, right, in mid-30s or later in life, man, like you just slow down a little bit, and things that hurt take a little bit longer to
getting out of bed after 34. So, you're like, what?
I'm not going to bang on Travis Kelce too much. I'm also not going to say that he's washed, but yeah, Noah Gray has really become a reliable weapon for the offense. Made some really nice plays. The guy's got hands. You don't see Noah Gray drop passes either, which is also refreshing. Yeah,
that's a big point.
Given some of the pass catchers this team has had the last couple of years. So, good to bring him up, Bo. He had a hell of a game, couple touchdowns.
He was more or less my standout player on the offense, right? Just way to step up and be that guy.
Yeah. Maybe with Travis getting ready to hang him up here in a year or two, Noah Gray, maybe he can take the torch. Those are big shoes to fill. I'm not going to sit here and say that he's going to be the next first ballot GOAT Hall of Famer tight end, right? But he's looking like he's going to be a guy that can fill some of that role. The Chiefs are going to have to start looking to that here in the next year or two, most likely. But
all right, on to bigger and better things. Yeah,
bigger and better things. Just take a deep breath, Chiefs Kingdom. It's going to be okay. The Chiefs have lost games before. That's the other thing too. I was thinking, just watching social media and the uproar and hearing the pundits on national TV. Nick's not here, but he's been noticing he works for kind of like a global corporation, and he's got people that he works with that live overseas and all over the country. And they're like, "Hey, you're a Chiefs fan, aren't you?" And he's like, "Oh, they lost to the Bills." Like, it's freaking worldwide news when the Chiefs lose a game. So that's a good place to be. That means you've arrived and that you're the top of the mountain right there. You're king of the mountain.
I thought it meant that it's time for the Bills to hang up another Super Bowl trophy banner in their facility. I thought that's what that win meant.
Yeah. I will say Josh Allen, his post-game comments and the kind of the way he talked about that game afterwards, that guy knows, look, this is just a regular season game. It's important because they're jockeying for the 1 seed and playoff positioning. So a lot of these people are like, "Oh, congratulations, win your Super Bowl. It's just another meaningless regular season game." I don't think the game was meaningless, okay? But it's not a playoff game. And the Chiefs have sent the Bills home every time they've played them the last 4 or 5 years in the postseason. So until they get done against the Chiefs, you got to think, you saw a locked-in Chiefs team last year in the playoffs.
Yeah.
They were scuffling. They lost some games. We mentioned the loss to the Raiders on Christmas Day. I don't know if they're bored in the regular season. I don't know. Bo, you mentioned maybe they're holding some of their cards. Let's not show too much. They know they're going to be in the playoffs.
It's like a
they know
cat
most likely
playing around with its mouse before it finally just goes in for the kill.
There definitely could be some of that too. But Chiefs are looking to move on from the first loss of the year. They're playing the Carolina Panthers on the road.
Real quick, sorry. With that first loss, the Chiefs did fall all the way down to first in the league. So
right.
There is that, man.
Right. First place problems. Chiefs were 7-3. Chiefs were 7-3 through their first 10 games last year. They're 9-1. Okay. So things are going to be all right. They're still good. They try to get back in the win column against Carolina Panthers, a team that does not have a very good record, but has won a couple games in a row. They've got some playmakers. I was talking to our man JT, who you see in the chat a lot, was hoping maybe he could swing by here tonight. He might pop in for us, might not. If not, he's a family man and a business owner, so we get it. But talking to him, he was kind of like, "Hey, look, you guys should definitely win this game." But look, he's like, Chuba Hubbard is a legit NFL running back. JT and I kind of joked. I don't know how the Panthers hadn't utilized that guy more the last couple of years. He's a damn good running back.
Right.
Bo, how do you feel about the Chiefs traveling out to Carolina, taking on the Panthers, who they're 3-7, but they've won a couple of games back to back here, and they've gone back to Bryce Young. They've got Chuba Hubbard, a run game going. What do you think? How do you like Chiefs' chances against the Panthers?
I'm liking our chances. If we can bring our A game offensively, or just as a team, man, like I feel like we've shown everybody, even some of the games we've won, our B game, maybe a B plus at points. It flashes, like we have a drive that's our A game, right? And you'll see that, and you're like, oh, why don't we just do that every game? So it just kind of depends on what we're going to bring out. I mean, Carolina, like the league looks at them like, well, they're not making the playoffs. They're not a great team. But I mean, every team is going to be bringing their best against us. Every team's bringing their A game. Every team's prepping it like it's their Super Bowl. I know everybody's saying that. It's nothing new to hear that. But like, I just feel like it's not going to be as easy as game as everybody's hoping. To the point you're making, they have some real legitimate badasses on their team, dude. I mean, how they haven't put it all together, I think, is more or less on the coaches and the staff there, man. They have awesome weapons. Their quarterbacks should be, I just feel like they're either overcoaching them or not even coaching them at all. One of the two. I haven't watched too many Panthers games, but like it's really evident that the talent's there. It just seems like he lacks the direction.
Yeah.
They're on a 2-win win streak, right? They won in Germany. They won before that. I mean, it's against the Giants and stuff, and
the Saints.
Right? I mean,
bad teams, but
right. But the Saints gave us trouble. I mean, man, everybody's giving us trouble, though. I mean, I just feel like wherever we're at, we're probably going to play down to them a little bit and make it a little bit more stressful of a game than it should be. But this should be one of those games, in my opinion, that we should be able to iron out all the kinks, get it all together, and really start putting it together. Start coming to form a little bit later in the season while a lot of these teams are kind of peaking right now. I think it would be a great jumping off point for us. This is one of those games you heard like the kind of talk about like, oh, the Chiefs need to lose one. It was going to happen anyway. And one of the bigger talking points was, oh, if they had one against the Bills, right, the rest of their season was kind of meaningless, having secured up the 1 seed so early. And I feel like that would have applied to this game, man. I feel like had we won that game, we would have went into this game not focused at all, just kind of riding on the high of being 10-0 kind of stuff. So I really like our chances in the sense that I feel like they're going to come out determined, right? They're hearing what everybody's saying nationally. It's not nice. They're done. They got crushed. They got blown out. You know what I mean? They're broken. Now is the time to get them. They're hearing all that shit. I know they're going to come out.
Yeah.
Serious. I kind of alluded to that mentality last week, and it didn't really seem like they did. But I feel like getting your ass kicked is a little bit different than winning one close. So,
yeah, I think the worst thing that could have happened to the Panthers was the Chiefs losing that game to the Bills. The Chiefs are gonna be pissed.
Yeah, that's
They're gonna
fair.
be focused. Like they, look though. I mentioned my conversation I had with JT. The Chiefs, man, like. I remember an undefeated Green Bay Packers team came to Arrowhead when the Chiefs had won like 1 or 2 games all year, and they knocked off the Packers that year. So any team is capable of beating any team any given Sunday. You got to come out. But look, that's looking. I think that's like when happens when teams look past their opponent, or they're comfortable, or I think that the loss to the Bills is going to refocus them. I think the teams, especially the defense, I think is going to take that. I think they took that a little bit personally. We mentioned the comments they had after the game. You could tell they were upset with their performance. You could tell they were not happy with the outcome. So to give up the streak of the X31 or whatever number of games it was without giving up 28 points or more is gone now. That's not sitting well with them. We mentioned Chuba Hubbard, but the Chiefs, look, their specialty. Their strength this year has been stuffing the run. So I like their chances. I think the Chiefs win this game fairly comfortably. Just go out and stuff the run and make Bryce Young beat you. He really hasn't shown that he's that quarterback yet. I don't think any Panthers fans or anybody should be giving up on Bryce Young just yet. Get that running game going, give him a little bit of time in the system, give him some weapons. I think he's still got a chance to be a good NFL quarterback. So I really like the Chiefs' chances. Bo, who do you have your eye on to maybe have a big game this week?
I'm hoping Travis Kelce, man. I mean,
Yeah.
it always feels like a cheat code when you're like, who do you think is going to do well? And you're like, Travis Kelce, because it's like, for so many years, it's time tested. But I was watching his podcast today. You could just see that, frustrated with himself, kind of same thing, back to work mentality. One of those guys that's like, been there, done that. This sucks. I don't want to feel this anymore. I mean, he has that true champion mentality. But in that sense, like if you see him start lighting it up, he has the persona on the field to get everybody else going, right? So I just like to see him, even if it's not all game, to see him getting going early so that he can get everybody else kind of feeling that momentum, getting the fire under them, and get our offense just rocking and get our defense on the field.
Yeah, I think you see Xavier Worthy build on the performance he had in the first half there against the Bills, similarly to Rashee Rice last year. They don't have really, I mean, I don't know, D-Hop has been a nice addition. He had the really good game where he's caught 2 touchdowns against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in that Monday night game. But he's another guy that's, like Travis, closer to the end than the beginning of his career. I think the team's going to start leaning on Xavier Worthy, and I think that was a sign of things to come in the first half against the Bills, and that they're going to start making him a focus and say, look, you've been here long enough. We need you, and we're going to find ways to get you involved, and we're going to play to your strengths. So I think you see Xavier Worthy come out and have another good performance.
I like that pick.
He's a guy that if he could come out and kind of like do what Rashee Rice did on any scale at all last year.
That's exactly what I was alluding to. Like this is about that time period where he turned the corner, right?
It was.
And
it
looks like they're giving him that opportunity.
Yeah, the third or second half of the season and going into the playoffs. So, yeah, I like to see Xavier Worthy come out. I also like to see maybe someone on the defense, right, like a Chris Jones or someone come out and maybe dominate and pressure and get on a young quarterback who
did the Lions just truck 54-6, right? I would love to see that come out. Like our defense just smash and our offense just smash. Like, can we just do that once, please?
Yeah, that would be nice. That would be nice. I think if any game is going to happen, it's going to be this game, right? I mean, the Panthers, you got to respect every opponent, but at the same time, they're not in the Chiefs league, right? I mean, they are a 3-7 team going up against the defending back-to-back Super Bowl champions who just got their first loss of the year. So should be a fairly easy win for the Chiefs. We want to do score predictions here, or?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. Make sure.
I got this one kind of being a
chat.
tighter game than probably most people are gonna like, right? I kind of like go against the crowd. I feel like everybody's gonna feel we're gonna easily take this one, 10, 14 points. I'm kind of seeing this like just a touchdown, man. If unless we come out firing and everything's clicking, I see us playing down to their level and having it be in a 27-21. Just great, another 3 hours of Chiefs football on my Sunday. My heart rate's gonna love this kind of game.
I don't see it that way.
I mean, I'm hopeful it's the other way. I'm just trying to. I'm trying to be a realist.
Right? Yeah, sure. No, hey. That's been the formula for the Chiefs all year to win by close margin, 1-score games, right? I mean, they talked about this 15-game win streak that just ended. The Chiefs had won. It was like 8 or 9 or 10 of those 15 games were by 1 score, or less, like 2, 3, 4, 5 point wins. I'm going to go. I know I said I wasn't going to pick the Chiefs to score 30-plus points anymore this year.
He's doing it. He's doing it.
I'm going 31-14. I think the Chiefs win fairly easy. I just don't. I see a pissed revenge game, a focused team coming off that loss, going up against a team that is just not very good. You're 3-7 for a reason. If you have a 3-7 record, you are not a good team. So I don't know that being on the road makes a whole lot of difference. It's looking like we're getting some people in the chat here. Brenda, 24-10. Big Doug likes 28-14. He's kind of in that same realm I am in there, the 13, 14 point win.
Yeah, I figured everybody had 10-14 somewhere in there, right? Like that seems
Brenda?
that feels like that should be
Right.
the spread. I don't know.
Right.
I feel like it's going to just be 7 though.
Right. Laney, chatting in here. Yeah, for old folks who be dead. John C. He's given the Panthers 21 points, but still 13-point win. So that's kind of the consensus here in the chat is that
Yeah,
2
right.
touchdown margin. I mean, I'd like to see more than that. Look, it would be odd. I miss the days of 40-10 games, right, where the Chiefs just light it up. Isaiah Pacheco's coming back. That should help the offense. And so I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility. Laney's 14-point win here, 28-14.
Let's go. I like these scores
I'm
better
ready.
than mine. Mine made me sweat a little. I was just like, what am I thinking here?
No, I hate you. That's been a solid pick this year. That's been pretty much every game, right? I mean, outside of.
Do you know what the spread is for this game?
I want to say the Chiefs were 9.5 or 10-point favorite when the week started, but I'm sure you could probably find what it is now pretty quick. No, I'm not sure. John C's comment is here. 342-1. Is that? You can't. Might have to have John C explain that comment to me. I'm a little slow, but I don't know if somebody in the chat's got the point spread. Bo, it looks like you're muted again, I think.
Yeah, somehow my mic came unplugged. I think I got a little handsy, got excited,
it
kicked a
happens.
mic, kicked a cable out.
It happens.
No, the spread's 11 points on MGM right now.
Okay. Yeah, I would have said it opened up at 9.5 or 10, so it's gone up.
Yeah,
So the Chiefs
this is MGM. They're usually a little more odd. I think they give a little bit crazier odds than DraftKings or something like that, but
sure,
it's Vegas.
Vegas usually knows. They're pretty good. So, I don't know. Is there any other Chiefs news? Anything else NFL related? Maybe anybody in the chat's got any questions? Bo, anything that you want to talk about that we missed? Or
I'm trying to think. No, I mean, on to next week, man. There's not too much I want to talk about last week.
Right,
that Tyson fight was pretty unreal. All the fights leading up to that fight were amazing. We were kind of talking about that before the show started.
Yeah, those first 2 boxing matches were. I mean, that was some of the most physical, like aggressive, just 2 people going after each other fights I've seen in a long time.
It almost made me become a fan of boxing again.
Right.
Just how much passion and competition was in those fights. Oh man, they were good. Good fights.
Right. It looks like Brenda's doesn't think Reed will run the score up.
Oh, you know what we didn't talk about? Bucker. Like, we don't have Bucker. We didn't mention it, right? No. So like that's so I mean,
it is.
We didn't have to rely on any field goals, but we would have almost had to rely on a field goal. Do you think our backup makes a clutch field goal out on the road like that in Buffalo? I should be better at this. I should know his name right now. I don't even know who our kicker is right now.
He's the guy that got off the Jets practice squad. Harrison Butker was coincidentally a Panthers practice squad player when the Chiefs signed him. Look,
did you hear what happened? Like, did you just get hurt in practice?
He just had a knee injury, and I think there's been some people that are saying that because in the Denver game he had that weird kickoff that
Schrader
that didn't make the landing zone right or whatever, and so the Broncos got the ball at the 40-yard line. A lot of people were critical of the Chiefs trying to be cute on the kickoff. I think maybe something happened there because it was just like all of a sudden it was like, hey, Butker's on IR for 4 weeks, and Butker's had successful knee surgery. And you're kind of like, what?
Knee
really?
surgery?
Like, when that happened? So,
and they just played it off so well. Like nobody said anything. Just like, oh yeah.
I don't know that. I mean, I don't know that you want to be like relying on that dude to make a 52-yarder to win you a game. But I think if you can get him that 40 and in range, I think the Chiefs are good enough at what they do to identify a guy they could bring in that is going to be reliable. You're not going to find anybody that's as good as Butker, right? I mean, you're not going to replace that guy.
That's another position like safety, strong safety, where the Chiefs can just go out and find some guy from Wendy's packing fries, and
Right.
like all of a sudden he comes in and he's kicking 52-yard field goals. Remember that Disney movie where there was like a
Right.
trash guy that did that for the Eagles or something?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's their Chiefs. That's their game plan right there. They watch that movie like, all right, let's go find him.
Yeah. No. Yeah. So look, I don't know that he's a guy that you can just going to be automatic from 55 yards like Butker is, but get the ball inside, get it maybe like get the ball a little bit closer than you normally would. It's definitely like a loss, and it's definitely a weapon. That being Butker, that is, it's just there's no guys out there.
There's no guys out there. It's just going to be interesting because
That
we
good.
pointed out, how many games do we have by
Right.
one score or a field goal, right? Like it'll be.
Right. You just
I think
need a
we'll
guy
see him
that's-
sooner than we want to.
Right, you see a guy that's going to make all like the extra points and the short field goals, and that can give you a long one here and there is the best you can hope for as a replacement, in my opinion. Right for
Right.
Butker until he can come back. So, wishing that guy a speedy recovery on IR. So, I don't know anything else.
No, I think I'm good, man. That was it.
Good show. Enjoyed chatting Chiefs. I know it sucks talking about a loss, but you got to do it every once in a while, even in Chiefs Kingdom. So,
Gotta stay humble.
really good to see everybody in the chat. Really
Yeah,
appreciate
thank you
it.
everybody for stopping by. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, no, if you haven't clicked like yet, make sure you do that. That really helps out the channel. That helps spread the word. That helps the algorithm. The algorithm get us out there.
All you on X right now, it says there's a lot of you. If you haven't liked and subscribed to our channel, which if you're watching, you probably have, but we're giving away a Justin Watson signed autographed jersey. As soon as we get over that 5,000 mark, we're that close. If everybody on X right now isn't liked and they liked it, we would be giving away a jersey tonight. So we're that close. Let's go.
Right. Yeah, let's go. And we still got the Isaiah Pacheco signed jersey. We'll be giving away to 1,000 subscribers. Let's get that going. Text a link to a friend or family member that's Chiefs fan and say, hey, check these guys out.
Text it to Brett Beach. Tag him on X.
Right. I love like the feel of this show with the chat and talking ball with you and Nick. Just average fans, right? Just people that don't have like the fancy film breakdown and don't know maybe like all of the ins and outs and have a former player or anything like that on the show regularly.
Zero insiders whatsoever.
No insiders whatsoever.
Well, we got Joe Valerio sometimes.
We do. We do have a good time, and I think we know ball a little bit more than the average folks. So, really appreciate everybody jumping in here. Janet, good to see you. John C, Brenda, I know I thought Maria and Kevin and Big Doug and Laney and John C, the whole crew.
Love you guys. Thank you.
We'll be back next Wednesday at 8:00. Talk about hopefully another Chiefs win. Get back in the win column and get this three-peat jump started.
Let's go.
Take the old paddles right to the chest here and get this thing back on track. Chiefs take on the Panthers in Carolina this Sunday. Until next time, let's go Chiefs.
Let's go Chiefs.